Okay, welcome to the Stampscapes lab. We're going to be finishing off this stamp sketch that I did in the live stream, the Friday night live stream. I'm looking at this right now, and I think what I want to do is I want to turn this into a springtime type of scenario with a lot of desert blooms. Sometimes the most colorful kind of I don't know, whatever environment that I've seen is a desert environment in full spring bloom. Sometimes they call it a super bloom. But it's where the annuals come out under certain kinds of conditions. There has to be enough rain through the fall and winter to have a really big showing in the spring. But sometimes you go out to the deserts, and I haven't always caught it like in the peak, bloom or something like that. But I have caught a couple super blooms, and it might be just like an entire carpet of yellow flowers or something like that, and I don't know, purples and things like that. It can be really dramatic. But I have some of my 3 millimeter acrylic paint pens. I think I'll use a couple of these, and I'll work in my yellow orange tones. I'm going to try something in this with these pens. I'll do like little dots of orange, and I'll put like a yellow one on top of it to give it a little bit more depth. And then we'll see about, some potential I don't know, maybe some glitter applications on there and see if that might work out. So this is done on printable vinyl holographic sticker paper. I've trimmed it down a touch. I was mentioning this in the live stream. This was a little bit higher. But when you don't have anything kind of going on up in the sky area, it's good to kind of trim off that excess area and to give the highest point in your composition, meaning whatever object you have in there. You don't want it kissing the edge. Oh, I guess you could, but in this case, I just gave it a little bit, maybe an eighth of an inch right up there, instead of having it like a quarter inch. And that kind of tightens up the composition a little bit because you make this, your objects in the scene a little bit more interactive with the format, okay? And in addition to that, I put this quote here. I thought that would be perfect for this kind of scenario here. Okay, so my original thought was just to do these in brown tones and maybe a little bit of green or something like that. But I think let's make this area come alive, and, let's kind of create this ideal sort of situation in a desert environment, when it's really at the peak of I don't know, it's splendor, I guess. It's when all the animals are out, and butterflies, and the desert animals are all, you know, they're well fed, the desert tortoises. On this scene right here, I just have this little scorpion right here. Okay, so let's add some light green. Now this is, I'm not coloring. If you haven't seen me do this type of printable vinyl sticker paper before, what I do is I lay down some Brilliance white pigment ink, okay? Brilliance is a different type of ink. It's a water-based, fast-drying style of pigment ink, rather than the oil-based pigment inks, which is every other pigment ink except for Brilliance, okay? This type of sticker paper is, printable sticker paper is designed to be run through your inkjet printer, and those inkjet printer inks are water-based. So using this water-based Brilliance ink on here is really a fantastic combination for this, for us stampers. In that we can lay down some of that Brilliance ink, and it adheres and dries on this paper really, remarkably well. And for me, the thing that I found is that Brilliance ink on this surface right here, it kind of provides a really great foundation to add color to, like your colored pencils or something like that. I could also stamp over the top of that white in a color, like a dye-based ink color, and it will print over the top of that and transfer onto there too. Where, you can stamping directly onto this sticker paper with this holographic sticker paper with transparent inks, you'll get all that tone kind of showing through them. Okay, so I find that it's good to block out some of this, in this case, really kind of wild background like that with some solid area so that we can see this. But it just looks kind of bare, just white like that. So I just use soft colored pencils, and I say soft because I don't know, some colored pencils might be really hard. There's different softnesses. I happen to be using Prismacolors just because that happens to be the one that I had, but it's also known for being, one of your softer styles of colored pencils. Okay. Now, if you have watercolored pencils, a lot of those are very soft as well. So if you have a particular brand of colored pencils that seems kind of harder and it's not transferring onto the brilliance ink that's already been applied, then you might try some softer brand of pencil. Not all of my Prismacolors are the same kind of softness. Some colors seem a little bit hard, and I have a hard time transferring it on here. But on top of this brilliance ink, again, the white brilliance ink, I find that most of these colored pencils work just fine. All right, let's get a little color into these saguaros right here. I'm going with a fairly light green. Some people might think, okay, let me see, what color are saguaros? It's this color of green or something, you know what I mean? A certain color, which wouldn't be this lime yellow. But the thing is that you can see there's like fine detail in here. And if I go too dark with the green, I don't think you'll be able to see it very much. Okay, so it's just that this little kind of, textures within this almost solid form of these saguaros, so you'll probably want to go with a little bit of a lighter green. We can get some deeper shades in here, okay, than this color right here, but I want color in the whole thing, okay? And that goes the same thing for everything that I'm doing here, like this desert floor and these bushes in here. I'm kind of coloring this green. I'm not doing it all, but when I get to a darker green, let's just go to it right now, like something like this. What I'm going to do is, this is going to be kind of more shadow oriented, okay? So in other words, just don't color everything completely uniform. That's not the way things look. Like my shirt right here, it's not the same color of red. It's a deeper red over here, and where the light is hitting it, it's lighter, right? You can see this green colored pencil, there's a darker green on the sides, but where the light is hitting at the top, it's a lighter green. Okay, that goes for everything. So if you vary your applications of different values of whatever hue you're using, in this case green right now, it will represent lighting. So you don't have to know too much about lighting or anything like that. Just as long as you kind of vary things a little bit, it will read as lighting because lighting will hit things differently. So don't get too caught up in things like, okay, let me see, this area is right in here. Where's my light source and where would this go? See, I'm just kind of putting this darker tone right around the base of my objects in here. If I color this darker and leave this lighter over here, that would be fine too. Just a little bit of a kind of an oscillation. They call it checkerboarding. Or I don't know, one of my teachers called it checkerboarding. I always kind of remember that. It was a pretty good lesson. Although that wasn't her lesson, it was just a little comment she made one time, but it's like, okay, that sounds pretty good. We understand that in terms of varying your colors, okay? Or values. All right, so see, here's a little bit of darker, lighter, to bring this rock out a little bit, I put that green in the background like that, and it makes those rocks pop out a little bit. Okay, but here it is on the saguaros. What I'm getting at is here, we'll add a little bit of this darker tone on one side of, what do you call it on the cactus? Cacti. Is the stalks or something like that? Let's see. Like on this one right here, I'm just doing it on the right side of it, giving it a little bit of a stronger, kind of lighting scheme, I guess. You can get a little bit of tone if the colored pencil is soft enough. Like, say I put this white blocking out, you can see where I put the white even above this ridge line right here. That to me just, it looks like it's clouds or something like that. But see, from here up, the saguaro doesn't have the, the white behind it, so you can't see these little highlights very much up here. But that being said, okay, so if I'm just going like this directly onto the saguaro that doesn't have the white underneath it, you can't really see the green very much because this colored pencil doesn't stick to this very well, but it will stick to the brilliance ink down there, okay? But you can get a little bit on there and it seems to be fine. Okay, so I have like 3 values of green. I don't know if I need that, but or if it'll do anything. The 2 seem to be just fine. You can't build up too much colored pencil layering on top of this brilliance ink applied down here, but you can get a pretty decent amount. It's not like a colored pencilist, that's used to doing, big drawings with all their colored pencils and layering 5, 6, 7 layers of colors and mixing them and things like that. You can't really do that here, but you can get a pretty decent amount on there, adequate for, I would say, our purposes in rubber stamping. Let's add a little bit of warmth to this area down here. Sometimes in green areas, I think that it's a little bit too green, so I like to give it a little bit more of an earthy look, so I'll add a little bit of brown to it, and that would seem appropriate in this kind of desert setting too. To have a little bit of that earthy tone to it. I just haven't decided on what color I want to do my rocks in at this point. I can add like a brown tinges or something like that. But I tell you what I'll do is I'll start off with a little bit of a dark brown and I'll just warm up some of my shadows a little bit first. And I'll creep into, see, I'm coloring it in the black areas right here. And then I'll creep a little bit of it into the lighter areas of the rock. I want to have those rocks still look like they're being illuminated by light, so I don't want to color them all out because the thing that's making them look like they're illuminated is having them lighter on the top sides of them. So if I come up into this area like right here, I'm just putting a very light application of that. I'm not having to go like that on everything. So just start off really light and see how it's looking. Retain your kind of lighting scheme by retaining some of those light areas like that. I mean, it's still a little bit too light. I've just used one brown right now, so I'm just going to go with a little bit of a lighter brown, and I'll come up into the those lighter areas of the rock just a touch. This one's a little bit of a warmer brown too, so a little bit of variation. It's kind of a temperature variation. All right, so see how that's looking right there? It's kind of bringing the, the desert floor a little bit more alive. And I think that is adequate right there. I think what I'm going to do, let's bring in some yellow here. And let's go with a little bit of a warmer tone in some of these areas. Now, if you have these desert scenes, I would recommend, I don't know, like on your, as you're doing your scene, have like a, I don't know, the computer screen or your tablet or something like that, and look up something like desert spring blooms or something like that, on Google or whatever, search engine you use. And it'll come up with a bunch of different samples and it'll give you some good ideas. And then as you're stamping your scene out, or coloring it more so, kind of reference those photos, that you see on your screen, and then you can kind of you can reference them. Don't try to replicate it. We're using completely different tools than a camera, but you can reference it and kind of get similar types of color schemes or something like that. You can observe what certain types of things look like. In a desert environment, if you don't live in one, and I don't, you can see just potentially how far you can go with those different types of color schemes and the intensity and the I don't know, whatever the depth of color you can achieve. Okay, let's see. Let's put some of these tones down here. This is a acrylic paint pen. Acrylic paint pens are really great because the thing that they advertise is that they pretty much can be used on anything. So a lot of times, certain types of pens, alcohol pens, dye-based ink pens, watercolor pens, if you try to color on top of a wax application of a colored pencil, it won't adhere to it. But these pens right here, you can color, you can write on glass with them even if you want to, and it'll apply. So no problem with that. All right, so I'm doing these little orange little flowers like this. Okay, and what I'm going to do, what I'm going to try here in the Stampscapes lab is I'm going to try to add a little dot of yellow over all of those. I mean, it could be poppies out there or something like that, but I don't know. I see more kind of yellows out in this desert, but maybe in the shadow part of the flower, it's a little bit darker, like an orange. So I'm working from dark to light on this one. So those little dots down there will take a few seconds to dry. So I'm, this is the color that I'll apply over the top of it, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so let's add in some other desert blooms. I'm going to add in some violet tones. And I have this little craggy little bush that I designed for this very purpose. This little bush right here. That's right here, 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 and over here. In the scene, you can see it like right in here too. And that, I mean, you can put any color of flower on there, but I'm going to put, I'm going to say that those bushes have like some kind of purple flower on them. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay down kind of a darker violet. Okay. And then I'll put a lighter violet over the top of it. Doing this right here, you probably can't even see what I'm, this purple around here because it's almost the same value as the background there, but it's just kind of establishing this little hue here. And as I'm doing this, one of the things that you might have observed is that I am kind of clustering these little dots. I'm not putting like a uniform application over the entire thing. And it just makes it a little bit more kind of varied, I would say, than just everything kind of uniformly applied. Just like, it's a texture basically. And, new color, but I mean, you can do, something that, just a carpet of yellow or something like that down there. But I find that if I'm doing something like flowers, I find it a little bit more, I guess, varied. So if you have variation, it lends itself to visual richness. You can think of it like music or something like that. It's just not the same note over and over and over again from left to right. There's, a higher concentration of notes and areas or something like that, or you can see it as like a I don't know, another analogy, like a roller coaster, with slower kind of sections and climbs, and you know what I mean. It just kind of creates a little bit of a different flow. Okay, so adding these yellow dots here basically over most of the orange ones. Like, I can't do it exactly so you get some of that orange showing through there, but look at that shimmer now. Now see, look at the difference between right here and over here. Here, I'll add it into these areas, and you can watch this area come alive. No, you know, I mean, it's like if you're thinking, hey, you know, could I have just not used that orange? Yeah, you certainly can. I think it would look great. Does it look better with the orange? I don't know. Yeah, you tell me. It creates a little bit more variation. Okay, so look at that little shimmer down there, like that. It kind of like gives it a little kind of sparkly feel. We'll see if I add in some little glitter pieces or something like that in here. We'll see if it lends itself to it. I don't know. We might want to keep this kind of different as a contrast between this very mirror-like reflective foil. Or do we want to create continuity between that holographic and down here? Because the glitters that I have are holographic. I don't know, it might be kind of interesting. Okay, this is a little bit of a lighter violet. I don't see too much of a difference here. I'd have to go quite a bit lighter for this to really make a difference right here. So this is what I'll do. Instead of this one right here, there wasn't enough of a value jump. So what's related to this? Let's go down to something like pink. I pulled this one out too. I wasn't quite sure if this one... Well, I don't know. That one looks pretty good there. I think that this one's a little bit darker than that pink. So let me try this one first. This one is a 0.7 millimeters, so quite a bit thinner. My dots don't look so much smaller than that 3 millimeter, because the 3 millimeter, I was just kind of touching it. I wasn't, you know, doing like a big significant blob, you know, with it. You know, application with the tip. Yeah, this looks okay. Okay, you see those? Kind of changes the spirit quite a bit, wouldn't you think, or what you say, from you know how it looked pre color. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of white into here now too. So I did that white out in the background there with the brilliance ink, but what I'll do now is I'll kind of reintroduce white again over the top of all these overlays of color. I won't do that in too many areas, but I'll give a little bit of a kind of a little highlight on the tops of some of these flowers. Kind of gives it a little bit of a sparkle. Now, like I said, I'm not sure if I will use you know, that little glitter on here or not. It might be kind of cool. They might, you know, the glitter might be too large for these flowers, though. Now that I think about it, these flowers represent something, I don't know, 20 feet away or something like that. And some of these things are pretty big in here. I don't have like a really small, like a round shaped glitter or two that are kind of holographic. I don't know, maybe I'll just keep this one as is. Okay, I'm going to add in a little bit of highlighting onto some of these rocks. The tops of the rocks are already white with the brilliance ink, but it's, you know, I applied that brilliance ink on here in a varied application. Some of it's very thin, so it's not quite as white as my pen, my acrylic paint pen can be. So this is good to get into some details, and I'm just kind of going over the top surfaces of the rocks. You know, some of those areas too, I kind of colored in with a colored pencil, you know, a little bit too much, but you could redefine the tops of the rocks a little bit more, or a lot more, just going in here with the paint pen. So some, you know, that being said, I overcolor sometimes, and I don't worry about it because I just know that you can just go back in with your paint pen and just redefine that area in white or light, okay? Doesn't always have to be white. There's other colors in this paint pen set too. You can do multiple kind of highlights. It depends how dark, an area is. Sometimes you might want to highlight a darker area with a paint pen that's like a color within the color scheme. That's not going to be quite as white as white. So on a dark midnight night or something like that with a lot of dark navy blue tones or something, sometimes I do the highlighting with a blue pen, blue colored paint pen. Boy, that is really coming alive there with tones, so I really like that. I think it matches the holographic really nicely. But this is, how I think about deserts a lot of times. When I think about deserts, the most popular time for visitors going to the deserts is springtime, to see those flowers. The least travel time is like summers. If people don't want to go traveling around in 110, 100 whatever degree heat, 100, 110. We were out in Death Valley a couple of years ago in 114. I love it, I'm not doing like massive hikes or anything like that out in that temperature, but I don't know, I think it's really cool. Okay, so these little ocotillos, I'm gonna give them on their ends this little red flower that they tend to have. Okay. So I'm just going over them. I stamped them out in all black, but I'm just going in here now with the red pen and redefining that in there. Like so. Oh, and let's give the ocotillos, these are really small distant ones here. Or I don't know, maybe they're young ones coming up here on the slope, the desert slope. I'll give them a little bit of this green, blooming, no, not blooming, but sprouting stalks. They have all these deeper. There's a little bit too light right here. Let's go with a little bit of a darker green. Let's see. Let's go with this one. You got to really shake up your pens every time you use them, to really mix up that water and pigment in there. That's better. You probably can't even see this. I can barely see it right in front of you. It's one of those subtle things that's kind of fun to do. It's like you're, whatever, waking up the, that plant there with the, it's springtime color like that. So anyways, let me get this formatted. This is a sticker paper, but I'm going to use a spray adhesive on the back of this. And then we'll get it formatted into a card, and let's see what it looks like. Otherwise, you can mail something like this off, but you probably wouldn't. You would probably, put it into more of a card format. So let's see what that looks like. All right, this is what we have here. I did use the sticker paper, and I adhered this sticker paper to this white piece of cardstock, and then I trimmed that out, and I adhered it to a piece of dark glossy cardstock like that. Okay. So it makes for a really nice, kind of firm, substantial card like that. I don't format all of my pieces into cards, but if I did, they would all look better. Okay. But looking at this, I am going to try a little glitter on this. I'm kind of in a glitter, I don't know, whatever mode right now. And I think, this little area down here, I think it could potentially benefit from a little bit. I'm not going to go too crazy. I'm going to follow my own advice when it comes to this, and I'll just add a little bit down at a time. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with a couple little pieces of glitter in the purple areas, okay? And I'll do that first. You can see I'm just kind of putting a dot here and there. I've been putting, that's what I thought I'd been doing. I thought I'd been very kind of selective. Here's a bluish violet right here. This is chunky glitter, by the way. Okay, this is my first time using this one. That, I think we're supposed to toss that out or something because there's this dispenser thing on the top. I think that dispenser is probably actually kind of useless because the glitter is larger than the little holes here. Maybe not that one right there, but the sprinkled one for sure. All right, so we have that down like that, and I'll tap off the excess. I find that tapping it off doesn't really do it. I need to get one of those one of those little anti-static brushes or something, pads, or I don't know, whatever they're using on that. I just kind of brush off the excess with my brush here. I'm probably doing it a little bit too early to do this. I should probably wait for it to dry and then do this because I might be wiping it off of the glued application of it. I'm not sure. I think that got it pretty well, pretty good. All right, so see this right here? Yeah, there's little flashes of little color in there. Now it looks kind of strange that that's the, the purple ones, the bluish violet. Sometimes with these holographics like this, it doesn't look like the color. Now it flashes that certain color in some of these areas, okay? That bluish tone, but being that this glitter itself is holographic, it has all the different colors of the rainbow in it, so, so that's the color that I'd want, but I don't know if you can see, like there's, at certain angles, I don't know, there's greens and, I don't know, reds in it as well. So I haven't been a user of glitters in the past, but I know how it gets all over the place. All right, so that was one color. Here, let me get rid of this. Okay, and then kind of a more, I don't know, whatever, a wider application of this. I'll go with the yellows down in my yellow carpeted area a little bit more. I don't know if this is going to make it improve on it, but this is the Stampscapes lab, and I want to test this out. Okay, so what I might do as I sprinkle this out, it looks more purple than it does yellow, and I want that yellowish tinge on there. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to pause this video and really allow that glitter to adhere to the glue before I kind of wipe it off this time, okay? So I will pause this. I don't know how long it'll take, 10 minutes or something like that, and I'll come back and I'll brush off the excess and we'll see what we have. Okay, back after about 10 minutes or so. Let's see what we have. Just kind of tapping this off isn't enough. Flicking it off. So we'll take that, or I don't know. Maybe that did remove a lot of that excess glitter, that is. Yeah, I need to take some of it off with the brush here. I see that, yeah, some of it's, some of that glitter gets everywhere. It's like a static, electricity cling, but some of it's on my rocks in here, so we'll take off as much as we can, like this. Excess, we have a little bit here and there, that's fine. I think that's to be expected with glitter. Okay, so this is it right here. And, it's not kind of overly, shimmery or anything like that, but then you go like this, and it's like that extra little kind of detail in a card like that. I think that's pretty cool. It kind of changes with the angle that we're looking at it. So I think that's pretty good. I don't know. I'm not displeased with that. I think it makes for a pretty cool little addition. And then when I look at it, I mean, I want this to look, good, without that kind of shimmer in there. So, the thing is, does that detract from, the paint pen work and everything like that in there? I think it's fine. I think the benefit of that little extra shine in there is pretty cool. I liked it without it too. But I also like it with. I'm not sure what I like better. And here's a little bit more of a close up here. Something like that. I think it's pretty cool. I like it like that, just a little shimmer like that in there. When you go like this, that's really pretty bold of a, a pretty bold of a reflection. Now I can't tell too much difference. No, when I look close, I mean that violet one does stand out, but I need to play around with some glitters that are a little more just straight, whatever color they represent as opposed to being holographic. Because I do want some kind of more pinkish purplish, or I don't know, like a magenta color just in here. But see, I do get that color at certain angles, but for the most part, it's like when I turn it, it's like that holographic nature of it is like every color is in there. So that's supposed to be kind of like a purplish piece of glitter right there, but it's shining green and gold. It shines every different color in there. Some of this right here too is they call it luminous. It's because when you turn off the lights, it glows in the dark, but only certain pieces are that way, not the ones that are kind of flashing like that. Those ones are not glow in the dark. So no benefit as far as the glow in the dark nature of that, really mattering at all. I can see a couple pieces of that glow in the dark material. There'd probably be like two little dots in here glowing in the dark if I took it into a dark room and, charged it up with light and then took it into a dark room and saw it. But anyways, there's your final result right there. Desert with a lot of different color in there. You would think that, that seems like, are they really like that? Take a look and, see some of those spring, you know, showings of a color out in some deserts And there's a lot of examples of it. It's like pure, like yellow. I don't know. It's like ground cover or something like that, with lots of other colors. And I didn't even do like the saguaros here blooming. A lot of times the cacti I find bloom in later months than the annuals that come out a little bit earlier. Not that you can't have it in there, you can do that, but I didn't do it here. And yeah. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And I don't know, think about your desert kind of scenarios and a range of different color possibilities.